Love your little poster.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I call it having fun with hearing.
Bernie Sandinista.
Yeah.
That was what caught my eye.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's
Vaccines, certain side effects may occur.
as a doctor, how do you feel about that one?
What's that?
The vaccine.
No, I disagree with that. My grandkids are vaccinated.
Some people, like in the millions, winning a lottery will have a bad effect.
I have a problem with it when it becomes mandatory.
Oh, I see.
But a lot of them are just to get in school, like Oklahoma.
Well, then again, I have a problem.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when the government starts dictating what can be in your veins, I have a problem with that.
You know, a lot of diseases have fluoride against.
I don't care about that. I'm more afraid of the government having the ability to put anything they want in my veins than I am any disease.
But you were never in the military then, were you? Because they do anything they want to you.
I understand.
Yeah.
And that's why I never went into the military.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was speaking to a couple of nurses from Bay Pines Veterans Hospital, which I, as a child, grew up a half mile away from. So it was my playground. I had nothing but World War II veterans and Korean War veterans that were my uncles. They were like, taught me life. To the man. Every last one of them said to me, if they ever try to get you to go to a war, don't go. So when Vietnam came around, I took them to heart.
Yeah, same here. But
I don't know if I was conscious of anything at that time of my life. Yes, but I certainly wasn't going to go out and try to kill people I didn't know for somebody else's reason that I couldn't quite clearly define. So I didn't see any reason to go around killing people that never seemed to be me. But the facts, I do not trust my government. I do not like it when they start mandating, especially in children. Especially in children. I think right now our government is infested with evil of the ugliest kind. And I think if they have the opportunity to go ahead and make vaccines mandatory and then go ahead and kill us willy-nilly anytime they want, they would do it without thinking twice.
well, we're in that same bottom row there. I don't know.
Yeah,
A lot
you're
of
pissed
people
too,
are.
huh?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, if you had one word to give me for Obamacare, what would it be?
Oh, not enough.
Not enough. That's the second time
Medicare
I've
for all.
heard that.
Medicare for all.
Yeah, but given the fact that I've just qualified, or it's been qualified that anything, we look at the VA and the mess that is, anything that is put in the government's hands typically turns out disastrous. Now, we just qualified that the government, the people in the highest ranks of our government right now couldn't be any worse. So why would we want to put our entire healthcare system in their hands?
Because Medicare is the best.
But we're not in Scandinavia. I've just said, right now it has been proven we have got the worst people in the world in charge. Why would we then put them in charge of our medical?
Well, believe it or not, the most popular insurance in the United States is Medicare. And private enterprise is worse at profit. So I would rather have the government run it.
But I
Yes.
guess the other
For not a profit.
that maybe
The Swiss voted by referendum. The Swiss
I'm
voted,
from Switzerland.
okay, the Swiss voted you cannot take a profit if on the healthcare system. It's a
How was our
not-for-profit.
healthcare system
Excellent.
60 years ago?
Well, whose?
Ours.
Everybody's was pretty bad.
I can remember doctors visiting me at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's a different matter. That's not. That's not a
How
government
was that a
issue.
matter? I can remember that poor
My
people could
doctors
get
take
taken
the
care of.
Friday
Because
off. They're out. They're out.
one-third of the
golfing.
practice was given pro bono. Hospitals, doctors.
Well, why should the doctors put that on their backs? I think they ought to be paid.
I do too. They do a
So the
job so that
Hippocratic
we
oath
stay
that was
alive.
there. But then
that's to
again,
heal, and that's to
and then
do
of
it.
course we can look at like the different classes of medicine, the ones that say, all right, we're going to treat you if you get sick, or we're going to keep you from getting sick.
Well, that's where
and
I
which
am.
way? Which way did it go?
Well, it goes to illness and trying to cure people, which doesn't work.
So you're homeopathic?
No, but I see some value in it. I don't dismiss it out of hand. It's not quackery.
No, it seemed to work for a couple of thousand years.
Yeah, well, our life expectancy now is a lot better, and it has more to do with fundamental things like good nutrition.
Do you know that?
Yeah, indeed. But also that is waning
Yeah,
now
I guess it's
because we're
further
eating
down,
GMO
right?
foods. There's poison in our vaccines. You don't think
I agree
GMO
about that.
foods is detriment to us?
Excuse me, where's the cafe du monde?
Yeah, just down.
Just down the road here.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And that's
love
that.
it.
Was it good?
Yes.
Oh, thank you so
Delicious.
much.
Yeah, you gotta go.
GMO foods? You have what's your?
Thank
Well,
you so
I want them
much.
to be labeled so I know that I won't buy those things.
I mean, they won't allow them in her country.
Yeah, I know. I agree with the European Union on that.
We ought to know what's going into our
I do
food.
too. I agree.
And here's Obama just signed another GMO corn.
Well,
I know.
he's in the tank. Hillary's in the tank. That's why I'm a Sandinista. Well, it should be a
Yeah.
Sandernista.
Oh, you're for Bernie Sanders?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
of course.
God, yes.
Of course.
You're not?
Well, he's a libertarian.
I used to
you're
be a
a
hippie, but I grew up.
So you're kind of like, what's that
No,
guy's
he's a
name?
libertarian. Ron Paul.
No, the guy that gets on board.
Can I ask you a question? You absolutely, again,
Yes.
this is pretty much politics 101.
Yeah.
And the axiom is this. The larger the government, the less liberty.
Well, it depends where you're coming from because there are some countries in the world that would consider us to have quite a lot of liberty. So,
I'm just speaking about that axiom. The larger the government. But
I don't agree with it.
Well, let me just say.
Well, aren't most of our problems right now coming from basically a government that doesn't work?
No, I don't agree. I think that the hand of the private sector, the influence of corporation, the corporate state, and they're having a hand in the government. They own every politician. That's what the problem
Well,
is.
except for one.
And so if you eliminate government, who are you
Well,
giving your power
Trump's
to?
getting ready to get bought. He's already brought Goldman Sachs to come in and raise money for him, and he's trying to get the Republican National Committee to raise more money for him. He's not going to spend his own money.
The only thing that I
guarantee
agree
you.
with Ron Paul was his war against drugs.
Well, libertarians are, and that's true of the left wing too. Social issues.
We have overlap in some areas,
Yeah,
but
right.
the thing about if limiting the government to the size of something that's evil, to me doesn't make sense. Who would, for instance,
It
when
only makes
Katrina,
sense if you enforce the law. That's the only time it makes sense. If you enforce the laws that are there.
Okay.
You do not need to make more regulations, have more agencies, and that they themselves perpetuate the crimes
Are
to
corrupt.
go ahead and keep perpetuating
Right.
more crimes. So now we have a homeland security that actually creates false flags. We have a government
disagree on
that
that.
attacks itself.
well,
I'm not sure about that one.
Oh, you're not so sure about that one.
I mean, I've read a lot of stuff on the third towers.
How about the
going down.
Oklahoma City bombing? Have you ever looked into that?
Well, yeah, I think there was more of a conspiracy on that, but I think they did catch the right guy.
Oh, really?
You don't think Timothy McVeigh?
Oh, I think there was him and several others.
Yeah, I do too.
There was a
Yeah.
lot. So why hasn't that come out? Why you don't think that? Why is that conspiracy?
Because our
come out?
news are owned by the corporate media.
Okay, then why wouldn't 9/11 be the same thing?
Well, it's possible. I'm not saying, but right now I don't see the evidence.
Can I show you the evidence?
Well, no,
We've
we
seen
really
a
got to
lot
go.
of-
No, this'll only take 30 seconds.
What is it?
I like this.
30 seconds.
It's building number 7.
Well, yeah, the third building. Right.
Do you know about that?
Yes, I have. And I have a lot of friends that believe that there was a conspiracy to bring it down, to give us a green light to attack our
No
flag.
explanation why that building fell.
Right. In
47 stories tall.
In fact, engineers have said that it's utterly impossible to just get fuel alone to bring down the tower.
It's physically impossible.
That's what they said, but
Any high
keep
school,
my mind open to it, but we may be living through a corrupt era in our government, but we need government, and it has to be.
no one's ever saying we don't need government.
okay, then we
What we're
agree.
saying is we need a government that functions
Yes.
as it's supposed to.
Yes, I
In other
agree.
words, we don't need it bigger, we don't need more agencies, we just need to enforce the laws on the books.
The rule of law.
That's
Okay.
all we need to do.
I see.
We don't need to make it any bigger. We don't need people to be watching people to watch people to tell us eventually how
Like
many
the
squares
NDAA,
we can
right.
have in a roll of toilet paper. We don't need government doing that. I sit here talk to people that come from
Right.
socialist countries every day.
Yeah, I'm
And,
sure.
I ask them, I said, do you see any of the changes going from a free country to one under socialism and
Right.
communism that's happening here? And they go, yes. These are the same things I saw in Cuba and saw in Nicaragua and
Look,
Argentina.
don't talk about Cuba because I was born and raised in Cuba.
Then
I
you go
came
look
here
at
when
what
I was
happened
11,
from there.
but a lot more people eat nowadays, and the literacy rate is a lot higher than pre-Castro.
Right here. Even in
For what price? For what price that servitude that you have to do that? I couldn't do this in Cuba. Right now, I couldn't be out there right now. They're doing this in Cuba. They would.
Do you think you could do it under a fascist regime?
Who's fascist?
What
We're
I'm
going
saying-
under a
well,
fascist
well,
regime. If Clinton done
Okay,
anything,
so
I'm sure I wouldn't be able to do
you're
this.
sort of a
Oh, I
centrist.
think you would.
You're sort of a centrist, I take it, politically.
No,
Because you're against fascism, you're also against communism, so, in terms of the political spectrum, you have to be somewhere there. Or do you stand, are you a libertarian anarchist?
I am a political satirical cartoon.
Oh, okay. Okay,
That's a good answer.
okay. Very tactful, very diplomatic. All right, well, we gotta go. Have a good day.
I like that.